Ancient nuclear warfare. Was this something that happened in ancient times and ancient civilizations, or was it not? In the video, I talked about the ancient Hindu text, the Mahabharata, the Bhagavad Gita, as well as ancient text in the Book of Enoch, which somewhat kind of points to the idea that fallen angel technology was a thing in ancient times. And then I also cited archaeological evidence that shows increased possibility of a nuclear war that probably took place in the area of Pakistan and India. Yet I have people looking at me, asking me for my credentials and wondering where am I getting this information from. So let's talk about it again. What people don't realize is that when you look at the Mahabharata text of ancient India, it speaks of many different wars and many different weapons. One weapon in particular it mentions when you look in the text. I'm telling you, find this text and read it yourself. This weapon is called the Brahmashirsha Astra. Sounds weird, but this weapon was the legend says that this weapon, when it was detonated in a certain region, caused a 12-year drought. No rain fell, and the wombs of women were affected. Now from there, I'm going to go to the Daily Mail website, which is a common news site that shows a lot of world news and whatnot. But here's an article on here that says a nuclear warhead strike could trigger a worldwide climate change, resulting in billions of deaths from drought and famine. Chilling study warns. Not to mention, we all know that radiation causes cancer as well as DNA damage, in which, yes, that does sound like a concise reference to women's wombs being tainted by this weapon. It is also said that this Brahmashirsha weapon created a huge fireball, created a loud thunderous sound, and wind and destruction just flew everywhere. Mountains were shaken and everything melted. It was just all this heat and fire. It was a big ball of fire, brighter than suns. You don't have to be a literal rocket scientist to know that this sounds eerily familiar and similar to a nuclear bomb. There are studies that are still showing that Hiroshima and Nagasaki during the World War II bombing, after America retaliated from Pearl Harbor, that there are still high cancer rates in those two cities, and they've been significantly higher since the bombings that took place over there. In other words, it's still radiation over there affecting the genetics and DNA of those citizens. Also, scientists have gone to various areas such as Mohenjo-Daro, such as Rajasthan, India, and many other different places in that overall area, and found increased levels of radiation. Where did this radiation come from? And from my perspective, it looks as though those ancient texts were documenting something that they actually saw. They thought it was extra divine and extra miraculous, but it was probably an early nuclear device that fallen angel seeds showed mankind at the time. They thought these fallen angel seeds were gods, you know, Krishna and all those people. They thought that they were some type of deities, but these were descendants of fallen angels. This is a narrative that you see all the time in many different religions, where there's some type of deity who has some type of advanced knowledge of the universe and how to work the elements and do different things. And primitive humans at the time, people who make bread dough out of grain and live in huts and tents, they look at these people coming down out of the sky doing different things, and they think it's some type of divine, miraculous, godly nature about these things, in which that is somewhat true, but we know that it's fallen angels. But those people in those times, they just simply worship them as gods. Now, to those of you who want to question my credentials and all that stuff, forget about me. I'm just telling you what I read personally with my own two eyes. I'm telling you to do the same thing. Forget about whether or not I have a PhD in historical science and ancient alienism and crap. Forget about that. That doesn't matter. If I tell you that the sky is blue right now and you've been asleep all night and you go and you look and the sky is blue, I don't need a freaking degree to tell you that. It is what it is. If the history is accurate, you read it and you be the judge yourself. The fact of the matter is, reading this text very precisely lines up with the fact that they're finding high radiation spikes as well as vitrified sand that could have only been melted by an extremely hot heat source, aka an atomic bomb. Just like the New Mexico test when Dr. Robert Oppenheimer, I think I said his name right. Don't quote me on it if I said it wrong, but when he did the New Mexico atomic bomb test and they went over there and they found vitrified sand, which had basically melted into glass at the fireball epicenter. This ancient astronaut theory of ancient nuclear warfare is something that I believe. You don't have to agree with my perspective, but I really would like it if you would look at the facts. Facts can't be refuted. It is what it is. For some weird reason, people over there in India, Sri Lanka, Pakistan, and then all those places are contracting weird deformities. Something that only nuclear radiation would cause. People being born with 2 faces and 7 arms and 4 eyes and all kinds of weird situational things like that. I mean, what else would be causing that? It makes sense. It lines right up. It lines up with the ancient text describing women's wombs being attacked. I'm gonna put a link in the description of this video to the text so that y'all can read it yourself. What I concisely believe is that this text, as well as the many other texts among world religion, I mean, every religion has a great flood epic. The ancient Egyptian ruins contained a scroll called the Ipuwer Papyrus, which documented 10 plagues that were identical to the plagues in Exodus, the 10 plagues narrative. Not to mention, every religion on the face of earth has very detailed occurrences of Nephilim or giants or spirits who come down from the heavens to have children with mankind. Everything is all kinds of evidence out there that verifies the ideas and texts and stories told in the Bible. That was the whole purpose of citing the Mahabharata in that video that I did, which I'm gonna put that in the description of this video as well too, so that y'all can be linked straight to it. But that was my purpose, using that as an example of verifying the true events told in the history of the Bible. Let's not be so gung-ho about degrees in literature and history, because history is a big sham anyway. A lot of world history has been whitewashed and deceptively told by mainstream colleges and schools. And these lies are being told by accredited institutions with accredited degree-holding teachers. They're teaching all kinds of false isms and lies, and they're doing it under the authority of some type of certification from the state. So certification from the state doesn't mean that you're telling the truth about a sad story. I'm Elijah Yarike, aka a musician, videographer, a young man that loves creativity, and I happen to love reading. I read a lot of books and I do a lot of research. Those are my credentials for bringing forth this information. Maybe you should become a reader too. You can find out new information yourself. Just be sure that you're verifying the source and you're doing extensive research. Do research the source of the source that you're getting your information from, and you'll never go wrong. With that, I'll say subscribe to my channel, or you can unsubscribe, like the video, or you can dislike it, share and comment. Also, check out the links in the description. I put a few links in the description of this video, including the video I did last year, proof of fallen angel technology. Y'all can check that out, and check out the link to the sacred text that I was referring to, and also look at the links in the description on how you can support my work. And with that, I will say peace.